So good morning and welcome back to the class. Again, a new beginning in the week. So we are into the next chapter called the arithmetic progressions. Now the word may look very new and you may have a feeling that there's something very, very new that you're going to learn. Actually, it is something that you have been learning for so many years now. Now we have been seeing numbers and patterns with numbers. We've been talking about patterns and numbers for a very long time now. Maybe from your primary classes itself. When I have a specific pattern followed by a list of numbers, when I take any array of numbers, any arrangement of numbers which follows a particular pattern, then we are able to continue and complete the pattern. So this is what we have been doing so far. So that extended to something which is concrete is called arithmetic progressions. So a progression, I should tell, is a new word that you are learning today. So a progression is a specific term given to a list of numbers. When I tell list of numbers, I don't have any condition on that arrangement that I have. Simply a list means it can be in any order, it can be written any way. Then that arrangement of writing the numbers is called a list. So when a list is subjected to certain kind of conditions, which we shall specify, then it takes the shape or takes the name of arithmetic progression. It is called arithmetic. Why? Because there are certain things that you will do with respect to the arithmetic operations that you will be applying on the arrangement of numbers. That's why it is called an arithmetic progression. So progression is basically a list of numbers which have a specific kind of pattern which is followed, and hence it is called a progression. It is an arithmetic progression, means there is some kind of arithmetic involved in the way the pattern is generated. So if you are given a few terms, I hope you understand what I mean by terms. If you have given a few terms in the list or the arrangement, because it follows a specific pattern, you should be able to generate the remaining numbers in that list. Now that list is possible only when you know what is the kind of pattern which is continued in the given list. Like for example, I write this list of numbers. Actually, arithmetic progressions are available in nature itself. You can see lots of arithmetic progressions available in our day-to-day life examples as well as in nature. So first I will try to introduce a very specific and common examples of arithmetic progressions. Then you can extend it to any other example that you come around yourself. Now I am dealing only with numbers here. So I say 2, 5, 8, 11, 17, so on. Now there is a list of numbers that I have written. Is there any specific pattern which is followed here? I will see that 2 plus 3 has become 5. 5 plus 3 has become 11. 8 plus 3 has become 11. But 11 plus 3 should have been 14 to tell that there is some kind of pattern which is followed in the given set. Please do not unnecessarily engage in writing something in the chat box just because you are here in the morning. Akash, your good morning was very much received. You don't have to go and type it again. Concentrate on the class, please. I am struggling to add people and you are telling a good morning again. How many times will you say? Is there a problem? Are you getting my audio?
Yes.
Sorry, are you getting my audio? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I could not suddenly
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
any one of you. I thought I thought we are disconnected. Okay, so we are there, is it not? We are there. Okay, so I was talking about an arithmetic progression is possible only when there is a specific pattern. So this will not fall under the arithmetic progression. Whereas if I had written it like this. Now you see the difference between two successive numbers has always been 3. So in such a case, this arrangement or this list of numbers will be called to be in an arithmetic progression. So how do I define an arithmetic progression? An arithmetic progression is a list of numbers in which each term is obtained by adding a specific or fixed number in the preceding term except the first term. So you are seeing every time I am adding the same specific number to the preceding number so that I get the succeeding number. Only the first term or the first number is fixed. We don't have a control over that. After that, every time a specific number is getting added to the preceding term to get the successive term. So such a list of numbers will be called an arithmetic progression. So this specific number that you add can be any integer. It need not be a positive integer every time. This is very important with respect to the arithmetic progressions. It is not that I have to add only positive integers to get the succeeding numbers. It can be like this also. Suppose I start from 10, then I can say 8, 6, 4, 2, 0, negative 2, etc. is also an arithmetic progression. Here, what is it that you are adding to the successive terms? You are adding a negative 2. You understand? So it is not always necessary that the specific number or the specific term that you are adding to the successive terms to be obtained be only a positive. It can be any integer. It can be a positive integer or it can be a negative integer. So write down the definition of an arithmetic progression. I'll tell it slowly. Please write it down. An arithmetic progression is a list of numbers. An arithmetic progression is a list of numbers in which each term is obtained by adding a fixed number to the preceding term, preceding preceding term except the first term. So
Can you repeat, ma'am?
Examples 1 and 2. I shall repeat the definition once again. An arithmetic progression is a list of numbers. An arithmetic progression is a list of numbers in which each term is obtained by adding a fixed number to the preceding term except the first term. Now there are names given to this first term and then the fixed number, etc. in an AP. So that we have to understand. Now I said the fixed number that you add to the preceding term should be any integer. It can be a positive integer, it can be a negative integer also. So my question is, can the fixed number be 0 also? Because I said the fixed number can be any integer. So integers include 0 also. So can I say that the fixed number can be 0 also?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, then what kind of list will you get, or what kind of arrangement will you get? Suppose I keep on adding 0 to the preceding term.
Ma'am, the same number.
Digits
will be repeated.
Same number.
Terms will be same.
I take the first term as 2 for a given AP and I tell the fixed number that I am adding is going to be 0. So how will I generate my AP? What will my AP look like?
Ma'am, same repeated terms. Same terms.
All right.
Ma'am, the first term will be repeated.
Yes, the first term will be repeated n number of times. As many terms that you want to generate. Now, when we are talking about the terms of an AP, do you think all arithmetic progressions have to be finite or they can be infinite also. There are two kinds of arithmetic progressions possible. Some of them are finite arithmetic progressions, some of them are infinite arithmetic progression. What do you think will be the difference between the two?
Finite will have number of terms.
Yes.
And
It is
infinite
very,
will have
very evident or very, very easy to understand from the word itself. A finite AP will be one which will have a fixed last term. The last term is fixed. That means you go only till that term. There is a last term fixed for a finite AP. But when you talk about infinite AP, it does not have a last term at all because it is going to move on continuously forever. It means there is nothing fixed that this is the last term of the given AP. Such APs will be called infinite APs. So write down. There are two different types of arithmetic progressions. First one, types of arithmetic progression. First one, finite AP. Types of AP. The first one is a finite AP. A finite arithmetic progression. When an AP has got only finite number of terms, when an AP has got only finite number of terms, then it is called a finite AP. When an AP has got only finite number of terms, it is called a finite AP. The second one is an infinite AP. Can you guess what should be the definition of an infinite AP?
Mom, when an AP has got infinite number of terms, then it is called infinite AP.
Now, more specifically, if an AP has got a last term, then it is called a finite AP. When you define a finite AP, you can also say that it is fixed that there is a last term for a finite AP. So when you define an infinite AP, an AP which has got infinite number of terms or which does not have a last term is called an infinite AP. Alright, both the ways you must be able to tell. When the number of terms in an AP is fixed, that means it is specifically having a last term. Such an AP will be called a finite AP. If an AP has got no fixed number of terms, that means there are infinite number of terms which it contains, it naturally tells me that there is no last term for that AP. So such an AP will be called an infinite AP. So write down quickly. An AP which has got infinite number of terms or it does not have a last term is called an infinite AP. So with so much of introduction on what is an AP and the types of AP, now we will write the general form of representing an AP. How do you generally represent an AP? So you should be aware of the various abbreviations used to tell which is the first term, which is the last term, and which is the specific number which is getting added to generate the AP. All these have got specific names. We must know them. So general form of an AP. So if I fix A as the first term of the AP, then A plus B will be the second term. Then A plus 2B will be the third term, etc. It will go on like this. Where A is called the first term and B is what it is, that specific number which is getting added every time to the preceding term. So this D, I told you, can be any integer. It can be a positive integer, it can be a negative integer, or it can be 0 also. So D, which is that common or that specific number which gets added to the preceding term to create the successive or the successive term is called the common difference. The common difference of an AP. This common difference can be a positive integer, it can be a negative integer, or it can be 0 also. So every time you add d to the previous term, you get the successive term. And this will go on indefinitely if it is an infinite AP. If it is proceeding only to a specific number of terms, then it will become a finite AP. I hope all this is clear. All this terminology you must be very clear about. Only then we can move on. So first we will try to identify whether a given arrangement or a given list of numbers, can it be called an AP or not. Only then we will be able to go ahead with handling APs. Alright. So today we will only see whether we are able to identify APs and we are able to also do a small kind of operations on them. That means if 3 terms are given, you should be able to find the 4th term of an AP. Or if 5 terms are given, you find the next 2 terms. All these kinds of problems we will take up today. Alright. So we will straight go into exercise 5.1 now. So turn to exercise 5.1 in your page number 99. So I hope you are in page number 99 at exercise 5.1 because there are a few examples given and you are asked to identify whether that list or that arrangement of numbers can become an AP or not. Now we have understood what is an AP. When does a given list of numbers become an AP, we have understood. Now given a list, we should be able to tell why it is an AP or why it is not an AP. Alright. So we will go to the first one now. I am looking at the textbook. Exercise 5.1 in page number 99. In which of the following situations does the list of numbers involved make an arithmetic progression and why? You should also know how to justify whether a given list of numbers is a AP or not. So let me take up the first one. The taxi fare after each kilometer when the fare is rupees 15 for the first kilometer and rupees 8 for each additional kilometer. So the taxi charges, will it form an AP or not is the question. So the condition given for me is the fixed charge or the minimum fare in a taxi. It is fixed as 15. So if a person travels for a minimum distance, he has to pay 15. Then for every additional kilometer that he or she is traveling, an 8 rupees has to be paid. So if I am traveling 1 kilometer more than the fixed charge, after the fixed charge, you have seen an auto meter run, isn't it? For some time it remains the same. Then after every 1 kilometer, there is a jump in the meter. Have you observed that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's exactly the situation given to us. The first minimum charge is given as 15. Then for every 1 kilometer that you travel additional, there is an 8 rupees additional that you have to pay. Suppose you have traveled 1 kilometer more than the minimum. How much do you think you will pay when you get down from the auto? Will you pay 15 rupees and tell, yes, I finished my travel, let me go?
15 plus 8.
Yeah,
15
you will
plus
be
8.
paying 15, which is the minimum, plus the 8 rupees for the additional kilometer that you have traveled. Then the next, suppose if you have traveled 2 kilometers more than the minimum, you will be paying 15, which is the minimum, plus 2 times 8. Correct? Then if you have traveled 3 kilometers more than the minimum distance, then you would have paid 15 plus 3 into 8 and so on. This is how the payment will go on. Now they are asking whether this payment that you make, depending on the distance that you travel, will this arrangement or the list of numbers form an AP? Is the question. Will it form an AP?
Yes, ma'am.
What
Yes,
are the
ma'am.
conditions for a list
Yes,
of
ma'am.
numbers to become an AP? The fixed term that is getting added will be generating the successive term. Which is the fixed number which is getting added here?
8.
8.
And the first term is the minimum charges. So the first term, if it is 15, the second term will be 15 plus 8, which is 23. The third term will be 15 plus 2 times 8, that is 16. 15 plus 16 will become a 31. Then 15 plus 3 into 8, that is 15 plus 24. Or you can say it is 21 plus 8, which will become 20.
39.
31 plus 8
39.
will become a
39.
39. So it is going like an AP, because every time you add the fixed number to the preceding term, you are getting the successive term. So you can complete, yes, it is an AP, which is in the form 15, 23, 23 plus 8 will be 31, 39 and so on. So the common difference here, the first term is 15 and the common difference, that is the fixed number which is getting added, is 8. Therefore, the given series or the given list of numbers has become an 8. Alright, so this is how you identify whether a given series is an AP or not. Now go to the second situation given. The amount of air present in a cylinder when a vacuum pump removes 1/4 of the air remaining in the cylinder at a time. So already the cylinder is full with some air. And when a vacuum pump is trying to remove air from that, every time 1/4 of the air is of the air remaining in the cylinder at a time. That means it is pumping. When a vacuum pump removes 1/4 of the air remaining in the cylinder at a time. So every time the amount of air removed is 1/4 of what is remaining. So how will this go on? Can you represent this as an AP? There is no number to start with. So what will you think and how will you handle this situation? It is not told
Ma'am,
that
we
the
should
cylinder
take
is
a
having so
variable.
much of air in it. So what will you start with?
Ma'am, we should start with
Start
1.
with the variable, ma'am.
Yeah,
We should
maybe you
take
can
one.
start with a variable will be a better idea. Somebody was suggesting I will start with a 1. Why should you start with a unit? You will not start with a unit because see why somebody is telling that is a unit is because some fraction of air is getting removed. So some of you may feel I can start with a unit. It is not wrong to start with a unit, but it is always better to start with a variable because you don't know exactly whether the capacity of the given cylinder is a unit capacity or not. Alright, otherwise it is not wrong. Alright. So we will assume that let the air present in the cylinder, in the cylinder be X, or in other words, you say A equals some X. That is, you start with X as the quantity of air which is present in the cylinder. Now, how will you find out what is there after the removal? Now, try to understand. This is where that unit is going to help you. Why somebody was suggesting a unit, you will try to understand. Read the problem once again and tell me what will be the second term of this list of numbers.
Ma'am,
If I
x
start
minus
with
1 by
X,
4 times x.
it will be, yes, I didn't hear that clearly. Tell me once again.
Ma'am, x minus 1 by 4 times x.
So what is that? X minus 1 by 4 times X will be 3 by 4 times X. Why somebody is suggesting minus 1 by 4X? Is that clear to you, my dear children? What somebody is telling, Kushi is trying to tell us something? The amount of air present in a cylinder when a vacuum pump removes 1/4 of the air remaining in the cylinder at a time. So we have to form that list or the series of air left in the cylinder after the removal. So every time the pump is removing some amount of air from the cylinder, what is left out is what we have to take, because we are seeing whether the left out air in the cylinder is forming an AP or not. That's exactly what we are trying to understand. So if it was X, which was the amount of air present in the cylinder in the beginning, after some time 1/4 of the air is removed. So what will be remaining? From X, you have removed 1 by 4 of X. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಿರೋ air ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1/4 remove ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ what you will have is 3 by 4 times x. Can you understand? X minus 1 by 4, you will see it as x times 1 minus 1 by 4, which will be 3 by 4x. I hope this much of fraction you are able to subtract. This was the original air present. 1/4 of that original air is removed. So what is remaining is 3/4 of x. Alright. Then what will be the next term? Now what is the air present? It is 3 by 4 of
Ma'am,
x.
3 by 4x
3 by
minus
4
1 by 4x.
Minus 1 bar,
Yes,
1 by 4 times
So you
3
will
by
be
4x.
moving from the 3 by 4x minus 1 by 4 of 3 by 4x or every x?
Ma'am, 3 by
4.
4x.
No, 3 by 4x is what is remaining. Alright. From this you have
Minus
to
1
move
by
1
2.
by 4x or something else.
Ma'am, 1 by 4 of 3 by 4th x.
Ma'am, 1 by 4 of 3 by 4x.
So how much will that be?
Ma'am, 9 by 16x.
9
by 16.
I have to subtract 1/4 of 3 by 4x. Correct? That will be my next term. So it will be 3 by 4. If I remove the x common, this will be 3 by 16. Correct? So 3 by 4 minus 3 by 16. That will be 12 minus 3, which is 9 by 16x. That is your third term. So every time you are removing 1/4 of what is there in the preceding term. Alright. So that is why you are taking 1/4 of 3 by 4x. Now if you continue like this, the list or the arrangement that you are getting, will it be an AP or not? So I will rewrite this once again now. I got 3 terms. My first term was x. The second term was 3 by 4x. The third term I got was 9 by 16x. It is going to go on like this. Now this list of numbers, is it forming an AP is not is the question. So how will you find out whether this series is forming an AP or not? You have to subtract the successive terms and find out. If the subtraction which is leading to a common difference, if B is the same between two successive numbers, then only we can say it is an AP. So subtract and see. 3 by 4x minus x will be how much?
Ma'am, negative 1 by 4x.
Negative 1 by, then like 9 by 16 minus 3 by 4.
Ma'am,
What will that
negative
be?
3
Is it
by
again
Negative
16.
3 by
Ma'am,
16.
negative 3 by 16.
3 by,
Yes.
3 by
So
6.
they are not the same. When you subtract the successive terms, your B is not the same. Suppose this is your A1 first term, this is A2, and this is A3. What I have to find out is A2 minus A1, what is it equal to? And then A3 minus A2, what is it equal to? If both of them is the same, that means D is the common difference. There it is going to be the same. But you are not getting the same here. In the first case, you are getting negative 1 by 4, correct? And in the
Yes,
second
ma'am.
case, you are getting what? Negative?
3 by
9
16x.
3 by 16.
3 by
Negative 3 by
16x.
16.
3 by 16.
So is it the same? Negative 1 by 4 and negative 3 by 16? They are not the same. Because the common difference is not the same. That is, D is not the same. I can say that the given list or the given series of numbers is not forming an AP. You understand how you have to handle these problems? First, according to the situation given, you should know how to build the AP. Build the series and then apply. That is, A2 minus A1 should be equal to A3 minus A2. That means the difference between the successive terms, if they happen to be the same, then I can say the series has got a common difference and hence the series has become a AP. If it is not, then you will say it is not an AP. So we are almost running into 34 minutes. I think the other two situations you can try on your phone. Now I will take up the second main there because it is allowing you to build an AP with the given data. So we will take up the second main quickly and try solving a few problems because in the next class I want to do the nth term of an AP. The remaining two situations like this, as I have explained, try doing. Now we are in the second main. Write the first 4 terms of the AP when the first term A and the common difference are given as follows. So we will take it up. You have to build the AP when the first term and the common difference is given to you. So in the first case, the A is given as 10 and the common difference is given as negative 10. Both are 10. The first term is 10 and the common difference is 10. So what is the general form of your AP? I just gave you the general form. It will be A plus B, A plus 2B, etc. So using this, you should be able to write. Therefore, the AP that we will be creating is the first term is 10. Then it will be 10 plus 2 times B, which is again 10. Then it will be 10 plus 3 times B, which is again 10, and so on. So your AP will be 10. 2 into 10 is 20 plus 10 is 30. Then here you have 30 plus 10, 40, etc. So this is your AP. The AP that you are creating is A plus 2D, A plus 3D, etc. You can write 2, 3, 4 terms.
20.
How many terms are asked?
Ma'am, you have missed
First,
20. A
4
plus D.
terms.
A plus D. A plus D.
Ma'am, A plus D.
10 plus 10.
Okay, I missed the 20. Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Because I was thinking about 4 terms to be written. Sorry. This is A plus 3. Because we wanted the first 4 terms. So this will become a. Oh my god, I don't have 10. A plus 2D, A plus 3D.
Ma'am, the second one is wrong. Ma'am, the second one.
Yeah, all right now. A plus D. Sorry, it's the 20. Then A plus 2D, which is the 30. And A plus 3D, which is the 40, and so on. So this is your AP. So when the first term and the common difference is given, you should know to write the general formula. Substitute the values of A and D to form the AP. We will take up one more. Maybe I will take up the. I'll take up the fraction, the 4th one, where A is equal to -1 and D equals half. This is the next one I'm taking up. It's not a second one, I think it's the 4th one that I've taken up to show you that you can still build an AP even when the common difference is a fraction. Because I told you it can be any integer or any real number also taken. I don't know why till the last moment I'm adding people. Okay. So again you will write the general form, which will be A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D. Because I want 4 terms, I should write at least till 3D. As many terms as they are asking, you should be able to write. So the AP will be A, which is -1, then -1 plus half, then -1 plus 2 times half, then it will be -1 plus 3 times half. Right? So this is how you should write till the 4th term, but it is not that the 4th term is the last term. They never said that. They only want the first 4 terms, it is said. So you should be able to complete this. So what will be your AP? Can you quickly find out and tell me what should be the AP now?
Ma'am, -1, -1 by 2, 0 and 1 by
I got all of you
1
saying what can be here then?
by 2.
It will be -1, -1 by 2. Are you getting it? -1, -1 by 2. The next one, 0.
0,
Then half.
0,
1 by 2.
1 by 2.
That is the first 4
by
terms.
2.
So this much we will stop here today. We will continue with the remaining in the next class on Tuesday. So bye from here. I think I'm in the last second. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.